There comes a moment in every woman's life when she finally realizes something she should have known all along. The right man, the man meant for her, will never make her question her worth. He won't make her chase. He won't make her doubt. He won't make her shrink herself just to feel chosen. Because a man who truly sees you will never put you in a position where you have to beg for clarity, decode mixed signals, or wonder if you matter. The right man doesn't test your value. He recognizes it. He respects it. He protects it. But before you meet that man, you must understand something deeper. You only ever questioned your worth because you were giving your heart to people who didn't know how to hold it. Let's begin. You weren't born doubting your value. When you were little, you didn't look in the mirror and wonder if you were too much, too emotional, too needy, or too hard to love. Those doubts were taught to you. They formed through experiences, through relationships, through moments when your softness was mishandled and your love was misunderstood. You questioned your worth, not because you lacked it, but because someone else lacked the ability to see it. And here is what most women never hear. Self-doubt is not a personality trait. It is an emotional response to inconsistent, unsafe love. When someone shows you affection one day and distance the next, your nervous system gets confused. It starts searching for patterns, trying to make sense of the emotional instability. Not because you're insecure, but because you're emotionally intelligent. Your mind is scanning for danger. Your heart is trying to understand the shift. Your body is trying to protect you. This is why mixed signals feel so painful. This is why hot and cold behavior creates anxiety. This is why someone's inconsistency makes you start thinking something is wrong with you. But nothing was ever wrong with you. You were simply trying to build connection with someone who didn't know how to stay connected. You tried harder. Every time they withdrew, you explained more. Every time they shut down, you softened yourself. Every time they hardened themselves, you thought effort could create emotional safety. You thought love could teach them consistency. You thought patience would make them realize what they had. But here's the truth you overlooked. You cannot earn stability from someone who is unstable within themselves. You cannot teach emotional maturity to someone who is committed to avoiding their own emotions. And you cannot expect clarity from someone who doesn't know who they are or what they want. But because you care deeply, you internalized their confusion. You told yourself, if I was better, they'd stay. If I was calmer, they'd open up. If I was easier, they'd choose me. But deep down, you know this. You were always the one making it work. You were always the emotionally available ones. You were always the steady presence in a connection built on uncertainty. So, of course, you questioned your worth, not because you lacked value, but because you were investing your value where it could not be recognized. Women do not question their worth in emotionally safe environments. They question it in relationships where they are unseen. A man who is emotionally immature will always make the emotionally aware woman feel like she's asking for too much. He will call your needs pressure. He will call your standards attitude. He will call your boundaries problems, not because they are, but because he has no emotional capacity to meet them. You wanted connection. He wanted comfort. You wanted depth. He wanted freedom without responsibility. You wanted partnership. He wanted attention. You weren't wrong for wanting more. He was wrong for offering less, while expecting you to be grateful for it. And somewhere along the way, your mind began tying your worth to how much you could tolerate. You told yourself, if I hold on tighter, maybe he'll appreciate me. If I love him more, maybe he'll change. If I stay long enough, Maybe he'll become the man I need. But love does not transform unwilling hearts, and loyalty does not heal emotional avoidance. And every time you stayed, when you should have walked away, your self-worth dimmed a little, not because you lost it, but because you forgot to look at it. This is what emotionally unavailable men do. They make love feel like a test. Instead of a connection, they make you work for reassurance. Instead of giving it willingly, they make you feel responsible for their distance, their coldness, their silence. But you were never responsible for someone else's emotional wounds. You were never responsible for healing someone who didn't want to be healed. And you were never responsible for teaching someone how to love you. Here is the truth your heart needs to hear. The right man does not require lessons on how to value you. He knows, he sees, he feels your worth from the moment he meets you. He doesn't play games with your emotions. He doesn't punish you with silence. He doesn't make you compete for his attention. He doesn't make you audition for his affection. A man who is right for you brings clarity with him. He brings presence with him. He brings peace with him. You don't wonder what he feels. You feel it in how he shows up, in how he communicates, in how he prioritizes you, in how he holds space for you. But before you recognize that man, you must understand the ways you've been conditioned to question your own value, because the relationships that break you are often the ones that teach you exactly what you will never accept again. Your self-worth did not disappear. It simply got buried under all the times you settled, under all the times you tried too hard, under all the times you believed you had to earn love, instead of simply receiving it. You do not need to prove your value to the right man. You only need to be yourself. And the moment you truly understand that, your entire love life changes. The right man doesn't just show up. He shows up in ways that feel effortless, not because he's perfect, but because he is aware, because he knows what matters, because he knows your heart matters. He doesn't require constant reassurance. He gives it naturally. He doesn't create tension to test you. He creates space to understand you. He doesn't confuse you with games. He clarifies, he communicates, he commits. When he speaks, his words align with his actions. When he touches, it's grounding, not fleeting. When he loves, it feels safe, not conditional. This is emotional safety. This is consistency. This is recognition. You notice the small things first. The check-in messages that aren't too many, but not absent either. The way he remembers what you said last week, not to impress you, but because he listens. The way he apologizes when he hurts you, not to placate, but because he genuinely feels it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your nervous system begins to calm. The anxiety that once lived in your chest starts to dissolve. The questioning in your mind fades. The need to chase diminishes. The insecurity that came from inconsistent love is replaced by confidence in his presence. You begin to realize that love doesn't feel like fear. Love doesn't make you doubt yourself. Love doesn't force you to shrink to fit someone else. Love, the right love, lifts you, validates you, honors you. And here's the secret. You start to carry that calmness outside the relationship too. Because when someone treats you with respect, you remember how it feels. You start refusing to accept less elsewhere. Your standards rise naturally. Your self-worth becomes undeniable. You see red flags sooner, not because you've grown cynical, but because you've grown aware. You no longer tolerate hot and cold behavior. You no longer bend to inconsistency. You no longer justify what doesn't feel right. Because the right man does not force you to negotiate your worth. He does not leave you guessing about your place in his life. He shows it clearly in every choice, every word, every gesture. And this is why meeting the right man feels different. It doesn't shake you. It doesn't keep you up at night. It doesn't make you question yourself. It aligns with your energy. It strengthens your confidence. It validates your heart. You realize that love is not supposed to be a battle. It is not a test. It is not a negotiation over your value. It is a partnership of mutual respect, mutual understanding, mutual care. And once you recognize this, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your choices shift. Your relationships shift. You begin to attract people who treat you the same way, who honor the calm, confident, worthy woman you have become. No longer do you chase. No longer do you over-explain. No longer do you tolerate inconsistency. No longer do you question yourself. Because the right man will never make you question your worth. He will show it to you every day in ways both big and small. And slowly, you realize this is not just a man you're recognizing. This is the woman you've become. The woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle. The woman who has healed enough to recognize the difference between someone who honors her and someone who doesn't. This is your power. This is your clarity. This is the calm that comes from being seen and valued. And it is unshakable. You begin to notice the difference between someone who is right for you and someone who isn't long before it becomes obvious. It's in the energy, the consistency, the small patterns that add up over time. The right man doesn't need to tell you how much he values you every minute, because his actions do it naturally. The wrong man makes grand gestures that feel empty because they are not grounded in presence or understanding. You learn to trust your intuition again. The woman who has experienced emotional inconsistency develops an internal radar. It's subtle at first, barely noticeable, a feeling in your chest, a whisper in your mind, a quiet question. Does this feel safe? Does this feel calm? Does this feel like respect? When the answer is yes, you begin to relax. You no longer hold your breath, waiting for approval or validation. You no longer feel the need to explain your emotions, your actions, or your worth. You simply exist, and he sees you. The right man knows that loving a woman like you is not about control. It is about partnership. It is about alignment. It is about supporting the fullness of who you are without asking you to shrink. He doesn't test you with silence. He doesn't play games with your heart. He doesn't manipulate your insecurities to feel more powerful. Instead, he communicates. He listens. He respects. And in that respect, you find yourself again. You remember the strength you almost forgot you had. You remember the depth of your heart, the intelligence of your mind, the light of your soul. Because the right man does not diminish you. He amplifies you. And you can feel the difference immediately. It's in the way he prioritizes you, without needing to be asked. It's in the way he remembers the little things that matter to you. It's in the way he adjusts, compromises, and accommodates without resentment. Not because he's forced to, but because he wants to. You realize that when love is right, it doesn't require struggle or negotiation. It flows naturally. It feels effortless, not because it is easy, but because it is authentic. Authenticity requires no games. Authenticity requires no confusion. Authenticity is grounded in knowing one's value and respecting the value of the person you love. And you begin to see the patterns of those who are not ready, not capable, or not aligned with your energy. The wrong men are often charming at first. They know the right words to say to make you feel special. They know the gestures that temporarily fill the gaps in your heart. But beneath the charm, there is inconsistency. There is emotional unavailability. There is a lack of commitment to showing up fully. You notice the moments when they avoid accountability. You notice the times when they are absent emotionally, even if physically present. You notice how they react when you assert your needs or set boundaries, and it becomes crystal clear they are not capable of providing the stability, the respect, or the emotional nourishment you deserve. The right man, on the other hand, shows consistency without being prompted. He demonstrates his care through actions more than words. He is patient without frustration. He is present without pressure. And he allows you to feel safe, always. You start to recognize that emotional safety is not negotiable. It is a prerequisite. It is a non-negotiable standard that protects your heart and your energy. And once you set that standard, your entire life begins to shift. You no longer tolerate half-hearted affection. You no longer settle for someone who treats your love as optional. You no longer justify behavior that diminishes your sense of self, because the right man doesn't cause you to question your worth. Instead, he reinforces it. He mirrors it back to you. He reminds you of the value you already carry, and you begin to feel something you might not have felt in a long time. You feel secure. You feel seen. You feel understood. This security is transformative. It changes the way you interact with the world. It changes the choices you make. It changes the energy you radiate. You no longer chase validation from people who cannot offer it. You no longer seek love from those unwilling to give it. You no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You become magnetic, not because you demand attention, but because you honor yourself. Your presence is undeniable. Your worth is unmistakable. And as this confidence grows, it attracts the right energy naturally. You begin to notice how differently people treat you when you know your value. Some leave, some step forward, some finally show up the way they should have all along. And the difference between the two is not in them. It is in you. It is in the way you have healed. It is in the way you have reclaimed your power. It is in the way you now recognize the difference between love that honors you and love that diminishes you. You stop making excuses for people's behavior. You stop believing that love requires sacrifice of your identity. You stop tolerating disrespect or inconsistency. And in doing so, you create space for the love you actually deserve. The right man will not make you doubt yourself. He will not confuse you. He will not make you feel small. He will not make you question your decisions or your feelings. He will see you in your entirety and respond with clarity, care, and presence. And every day, the calm and consistency he provides strengthens your self-worth. It reminds you that you are not overreacting. It reminds you that your emotions are valid. It reminds you that your love is sacred. And slowly, you begin to trust again. You trust yourself. You trust your intuition. You trust that you are worthy of love that is honest, healthy, and sustaining. Because the right man does not create chaos in your heart. He does not create confusion in your mind. He does not make you question your own value. He reinforces it, protects it, and honors it. And that is the most empowering lesson of all, that your worth is non-negotiable, that you do not need to fight for it, that you do not need to prove it, that the right love does not demand it. It recognizes it. It uplifts it. It mirrors it back to you every single day. And in this realization, you step fully into your power. You stop looking for signs in the wrong places. You stop investing energy where it is not reciprocated. You stop settling for less than the love you deserve, because now you know the right man will not make you question your worth. He will help you remember it. He will reflect it back to you, and he will allow you to feel it fully, without compromise. And that realization, that clarity, that confidence changes everything. You have learned the difference. You have felt the contrast. You have seen what love that honors you looks like. And now, it is time to step fully into it. No longer will you bend to be accepted. No longer will you shrink to be loved. No longer will you tolerate inconsistency or confusion. You know your worth. You feel your power. You carry your heart with strength and clarity. And that changes everything. The right man will not test you. He will not make you doubt. He will not make you question your feelings. He will show up. He will communicate. He will value your presence. Every choice he makes will align with respect. Every gesture will reflect care. Every word will reinforce your worth. And as you experience this, you realize something profound. You were never meant to fight for love. You were meant to receive it. You were never meant to prove your value. You were meant to embody it. And when you embody it fully, the universe responds. The energy you radiate attracts the same energy. The love you demand from yourself draws the love you deserve from others. You begin to recognize patterns sooner. You see red flags without hesitation. You no longer justify behavior that doesn't align with your standards. You no longer over-explain. You no longer chase. You no longer sacrifice your peace for someone else's comfort. You have reclaimed your power. You have reclaimed your heart. You have reclaimed your life. And this is the moment transformation occurs. Because when you walk in, knowing your worth, you do not tolerate less. And when you do not tolerate less, you create space for more. More love, more respect, more understanding, more presence, more alignment, more peace. The right man is drawn to that energy, not because you demand it, not because you try to impress, but because you stand firm in who you are, because you know your boundaries, because you value your emotions, because you honor your standards. And that is magnetic. That is irresistible. And the love that comes from that magnetism is effortless. It does not require anxiety. It does not require chasing. It does not require uncertainty. It flows naturally. It uplifts you. It reinforces you. It makes you feel seen, safe, and valued. And the transformation does not stop with him. It continues within you. You start to trust your intuition again. You start to trust your decisions again. You start to trust your heart again. You no longer allow self-doubt to rule your mind. You no longer allow past hurts to dictate your present. You no longer question whether you are enough, because you know you are. And that knowledge is powerful. It is magnetic. It is beautiful. It is unshakable. And in this state, everything changes. Your relationships, your choices, your energy, your life. You attract people who are aligned, people who reflect your values, people who honor your heart, people who elevate your spirit, and the ones who are not aligned fall away naturally. No force required, no struggle necessary, no confusion needed. You simply walk in your truth. You simply radiate your worth. And the right love finds you effortlessly. You realize that your journey was never about them. It was always about you, your growth, your healing, your empowerment, your clarity, your peace. And now that you carry that within yourself, you no longer question what you deserve. You no longer settle for less. You no longer chase approval. You no longer shrink your heart. You have become the woman who knows her worth. And the right man sees that. He feels that. He honors that. He loves that. Because when a woman knows her worth, she no longer asks for love. She simply receives it. And the love that arrives is unwavering. It is consistent. It is authentic. It is present. It is empowering. It strengthens, nurtures, and elevates her. It reflects back the value she carries inside. It aligns with her energy. It honors her standards. It validates her heart. And this, finally, is freedom. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from insecurity. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from questioning yourself. Freedom to be fully, unapologetically you. And as you step into this freedom, you realize something even more beautiful. You were never broken. You were never too much. You were never the problem. You were simply waiting for the love that matches the woman you are. The love that honors your heart, your mind, and your soul. The love that sees your worth and does not question it. The love that reflects back your value without hesitation. The love that empowers you rather than diminishes you. And when you finally embrace this truth, you understand the most important lesson of all. Your worth is non-negotiable. It cannot be questioned. It cannot be diminished. It cannot be earned. It simply is. And the right man will never make you question it. He will mirror it back to you every single day. He will remind you, through presence and consistency, that you are deserving of love, respect, and care. And in that reflection, you are empowered. You are confident. You are unshakable. You are free. And the love you attract is exactly what you have always deserved. You have heard the truth. You have felt the clarity. You know your worth. And now it's time to act. Stop settling for anything less. Stop tolerating inconsistency. Stop shrinking your heart to fit someone else. Start honoring your feelings. Start protecting your peace. Start expecting the love you deserve. Because the right man will never make you question your value. He will see it. He will reflect it. He will honor it. And you will know it. So today, make a choice. A choice to stand in your power. A choice to walk in your worth. A choice to stop chasing and start attracting. Love that uplifts you is waiting, but it begins with you. Embrace your worth. Protect your heart. Radiate your energy. And watch the right love flow into your life effortlessly. You are enough. You are worthy. And you deserve the love that never makes you question it. Now go claim it.